prayer,
Om
including for India.
Om Partaya Pradibodhitam Bhagavatam Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Praditam Purana Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamritavarshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadyayini Ambatvamanusandatami Bhagavad Gita Bhavadveshini. We have to start from
Om Swamiji.
Adambitva, absence of pretense.
Yeah. Basically, what you are now discussing is Kshetrajna, Kshetra is over. Jnana, Nyayam, Bhagavan is discussing.
Yeah. We are discussing Amanitva.
Huh?
We are discussing Amanitva.
Amanitva we
Amanitvam.
have finished. Now we are going to Adambitva. Before that, I want to tell again this whole values. See, the Jnanam and Nyayam is also called Jnanam and Vijnanam. Vijnanam meaning Prajna, that is what we are talking about. Right? What does it mean? Okay, so Prajna meaning freedom, basically freedom, Atma, whatever you call it, it's all Prajna. For understanding Prajna, your Swarupa, you have to unlearn. You have to unlearn what is superimposed on that. So that is why Amanitvam, Madambitvam, Ahimsa and all that. The sense, Himsa is superimposed. That has to be removed. Manitvam, meaning Manitvam is exaggerated self-opinion. The sense, a simple self-respect is different thing. But that others should respect me is an exaggerated self-opinion. Bhashyakara tells, Atmani Pujyatva Bhavana. அந்த அளவுக்கு எல்லாரும் ரெஸ்பெக்ட் பண்ணணும். ஆத்மனி பூஜ்யத்வ பாவனா. So இதெல்லாம் unnecessary superimposition. So the mani means mana means measurement. We have got our own self measurement. Mana means pramana, mana and all that. So we have got you are already immeasurable, but you have put unnecessary measurement on you and say that people should respect me for this with this measurement scale. So unnecessary, exaggerated self opinion. So one by one, if we unlearn all this, what is exaggerated, what do you call, opinion and other superimpositions of us, we remove all of them, we will get back to our own Swarupa. So our Swarupa is what is there. Over that we have put lot of this muck. One by one we are trying to remove, so that we get back to the Swarupa. So Jnanena, Prajnanam you will get back. Jnanena, Nyayam you will get back. So that is the idea of all these values. So that all these have to be looked at in that respect. So with that in view, if we look at it, then all this will make an impact on our own daily life. So wherever we are putting ourselves into unnecessary pressure by having all these superimpositions, if we keep on removing them, then the clarity about our own Swarupa also becomes clear. Then that anyway Shastra has already told us. First 12 chapters is told us what is our reality. That will come. It will become, since the cover removed, it becomes automatically clear. So we don't have to really do anything to get the Nyayam. That is why Jnana is discussed first. Generally, when you talk about knowledge, we will talk about what is the essence of that knowledge and then Upaya we will discuss. But here, Nyaya, the Prajna, the Atma Swarupa is already there. You don't have to really do anything. You have to only remove what is the cover, what is covering that. So that is why Jnana is being discussed now, one by one. So on that, with that background, Amanitva we have already finished. Now we are getting into Adambitva. Yeah, please.
So, Swamiji, this Manitvam, we say self-respect. I just have a doubt.
No, self-respect is okay. Exaggerated self-opinion. That is Atmani Pujyatva Bhavana. That others should respect me. Should explicitly respect me. Even if I do something nice, they should tell thanks. Thanks kuda sollalana ivanukku enna mention. See, that sort of a. So we are always very conscious of how others respond to you. That is because of that, basically you have not understood the reality of your own. You are already a Pujya. You are already complete and You got, since by your nature you are a complete being. So that's not knowing, and you have already superimposed a lot of things to have that. You basically everyone wants to have that completeness. That is the natural urge. You cannot avoid it. But that is already praptam. But you think it is not there. So you are accumulating a lot of things to make it look like you are somebody great. All your dress, all your makeup, everything is to high. So you think that in putting on a lot of things on you, you will look better. Whereas you are already good. That is what you have to understand. For that to understand what is already superimposed, all these things one by one you remove, then you will, the Atma will really, in the sense, you will shine by yourself. That is the Tatparyam of the Shastra. Yeah, you tell me, what is your doubt?
So if day to day, Padlans I'm talking, if you are not greeted, if you go somewhere, you are not received, we should not bother. That's what this
Yes,
means.
definitely. That is a paradigm shift in our thinking.
Ah.
We have always been used to all this, especially Swami always, Swami, we are very, very, very conscious of others' opinion about us. அடுத்தவன் என்ன நினைப்பான்னு பாதி லைஃப் போயிடுது.
எனக்கு மரியாதையே வைக்கலன்னு சொல்லுவோம் இல்லையா, பார்த்துட்டு பார்க்க மரியாதை
அடுத்தவன் என்னை பத்தி என்ன நினைப்பா. See, this is what has been a driving force in our life, which is totally unnecessary. That comes out of the basic, we have never examined the truth of our reality and all that. We just have been building on something has been given to you in the early stages in your life. Keep on building on accumulation, lot of accumulation, qualification, Shastra, even I know this sloka, that sloka, then even more of rituals, then more of money, more of comfort. Keep on accumulating and give a value for it. It's exaggerated value. Money can only buy things, it cannot give you happiness. But we want happiness out of money. So all these things now have been accumulated. And because of that, the basic beauty, which is your reality, is missed out totally. That's what I was telling yesterday. Vikshepa Shakti, Avarana, Bhagavan does not have to cover it. Just give you all this variety and allow you to play with it, you will get lost in it. So that is precisely what has happened. So now what we are doing is we are really looking at it. So through the help of Bhagavan's this 20 values which he has enumerated, if we look at it very critically and where we are on a day-to-day life, where we are having this superposition, we keep on deliberately, consciously, with alertness, we keep on doing in small and big ways, automatically will, and you anyway have the background of what is your reality, that will start really, you will start owning it up. That is why this Jnanam and Jnayam is very important. Yeah.
Okay.
Adambitva. Absence of pretense.
Dambam, we know Dambam na Benvadichikaradu சொல்லுவாங்க அதேதான் Adambitvam. So Dambitvam you have accumulated, now you have to knock it out. So yeah.
Then there is Adambitvam. Again, we first need to understand Damba, then see what it means for it not to be there. Shankara says that Damba is declaring one's own glories that one does not have. If somebody says the glory that he already has,
that is Manitvam. The glory which you genuinely have, you have got some vibhutis, in the sense you have got some merit. And that merit, you know that you have the merit, that's it. But you want others to recognize your merit.
yeah.
That is not adharmam or something, but it is unnecessarily putting a pressure on you. In the sense, you will always be expecting that respect from the other person.
Yeah.
Even though you deserve it, you don't, once you know that you deserve it, you don't bother whether others give you or not. That is Manitvam, that we have discussed. Here, if what happens is, if Amanitvam is not, as a value is not clear to you, then what will happen? Okay, what I have genuinely, I don't, this particular crowd doesn't respect. So what that crowd will respect, that you think you project as if you have that value. You may not have that value. That is why Manitvam leads to Dambitvam. Manitvatnala ஏற்படுற respect கிடைக்கலனா, then you will try to project yourself in other areas, pretense. Then it becomes pretense.
Dambitvam.
You pretend as if you know many things. In a crowd, in a crowd you don't talk. You talk about Gita and all. They don't respect. The crowd doesn't respect. So what you will do? You will talk about Lalita Sahasranam because that group may know. You try to say that I know more about Lalita Sahasranam and all that. Perhaps that some of those people may know more than that. So you will expect them to respect you because of now you are talking about Lalita Sahasranam, which you may know less. Gita you may know more. Since they didn't give you your Gita respect, you will want their respect for your Lalita Sahasranam, which you don't know that much as they know. So, manitvam leads to dambitvam. If you don't have manitvam, you are not, then you will just stick to it. If you know what you know, you will
Keep
stop
quiet.
and they don't respect also is fine with you. If you don't know something, you will just keep quiet.
Yes.
You will not be under pressure to get somehow some respect by being a damba. That is precisely what happens. No? That's why Swamiji used to say, all these values are noodles. Like, if you have one value properly, all other values will come. If you don't have one value, that will lead to all other non-values. So that is both ways, always, it works both ways. This is one of them, you have good value, what a real handle on that, then all other values will follow. That is also there. Yeah. Now he will explain.
Swamiji.
Just listen to him.
Swamiji, actually, I go to a temple, I am not respected and taken in directly, then I get irritated. That is manitva.
Yeah. This is see, that is not even manitvam, I would say. It is in the sense you are sense that there is not even manitvam. There I would say it is again exaggerated self-respect. The temple is a place where a lot of religious people come. Some people, they may have some connection, they may be respected. If you don't get respect in a particular temple when you enter and all that, it doesn't really matter. It is not your business at all. You don't have to worry about that. I won't even call it manitvam. It is basically being very self-conscious. In the sense you are so very, you are so much, absorbed in yourself that you think the world is only waiting to respect you. They might not even, honestly, they might not have disrespected you. They might have just ignored you because they have better things to do. They've got a lot of other things. So they might have just, for a moment, that person's mind may be preoccupied with so many other things. So that at that moment, he would not have respected you, he would not have welcomed you. You think that he is not welcoming you. That is because of exaggerated self-opinion. So that is precisely what we should avoid. Unnecessary heartburns. You can avoid a lot of things that way. So very yathartham. You understand basic thing is you must have a sense of self-acceptance, self-love, self-acceptance. That is precisely Vedanta helps. Since basically, irrespective of what you have and what you don't have, you are a complete being. அதில் சாநித்தியம் இருக்கணும். You must have that real, having gone through all this, to this, lot of ways which you have studied, so many things, Ramana and all those things. You should have that self-respect. It's native. It is very native to us. So we don't really bother. Honestly, we don't really need others' respect for anything what you have got a lot of things to do. Your others' opinion about you should be the last thing in your mind. Very important in life. That is my personal experience, honestly, right from beginning. Small age, childhood. So that is precisely, it helps a lot. That is, of course, that manitvam is when you grow up and you got a qualification, you are the society and all that. Your exaggerated self-respect, building on that, the lack of that self-respect. Initially, you have built on it. You have a complex. Others should respect me because you don't respect yourself. So from there it starts. And then as you acquire more qualification, more wealth and all that, as age grow, as an elder I want to be respected. Forget anything else. I'm an elderly person, I should be respected. And all those things we build up, it builds up the pressure on you. So, and also a very small, even somebody sneezes at you, you think that he's frowning at you. That sort of a situation comes. So you become a bundle of nerves. It is not necessary at all. Just mind your business. You are a person with a lot of self-respect in yourself. That should be very, very sure. The others give, no, doesn't give. They say hello, you say okay. If they don't say hello, equally okay. Just keep on. Very important. Yeah.
Sometimes I organize
Swamiji,
a,
the society is asking for, when you do marriage, punal and all, it is setting a standard for people, in the Vardha Panano, I need to put gold, I need to put all this you are telling, no? That's not really
A lot
okay.
of things. All these things are, no, it's all building up. Building up, you are creating a situation where you are going to get hurt. Simple. By building all these crutches and props, no, in your life more and more, you are vulnerable. You are becoming more and more vulnerable. That anything that fails because you want to compare yourself with others. அடுத்த வாரத்து பொண்ணுல எப்படி இருந்தது, மாத்து பொண்ணுல எப்படி இருந்தது, அது ஒரு ரெண்டு வருஷம் எக்ஸ்ட்ரா வச்சா, இதை கம்மியா வச்சா. From that it all starts. Horrible it is. Actually, we are becoming a bundle of nerves. The real, all these are only now 99% Laukikam, 1% Vaidikam. And the person gets lost in the whole thing. So it's all, this is all basically the jad, the root is manitvam. Root is manitvam. That is why if we get rid of that, that's why first amanitvam has been kept. Expecting respect from others, whether it is genuine or not genuine, or exaggerated self-opinion, or that feel that they must respect you, welcome you. Pujyatva Atmani, Shankara is very powerfully saying, Atmani Pujyatva Bhavana. Which is not going to happen. So, Atmani Pujyatva Bhavana is the avoid. So, Amanitvam is a very important value to begin with. Then other things come. Yeah.
Swamiji, at the same time, when others expect you to, they don't know.
Yeah.
That you have to give. Whether you like it or
you have
not,
nothing to lose.
we have nothing to lose.
Because that is what I told, that the Ashtavakra Gita I told you, no? See, that the values for yourself, that you be happy with yourself, you be straightforward, and you be true. At the same time, if these three things are not in others, you must be empathetic. In the sense, you must be able to appreciate from their background, their lack of learning, because of that they are behaving like that. So, அவளுக்கு ரெண்டு prayer extra சொல்லிட்டு அவளை நிர்வாகத்தை கொடுத்தோம்னா, you go bigger, become bigger than what you are.
Yes.
That is fine. That is only what we call your empathy and compassion towards others. That you should not forget. That is very important. Like if you can do it, by inadvertence, if you miss something, you can't help it. You can say sorry. That's all. And they may agree, they may not agree with it. But to that extent, you are aware of it. What they expect of you, if you can afford it, you give it. What's the problem? So that is always there. Even within the family also, fathers and everywhere. Wherever it's possible, you give. That way you become bigger than what you are. That is the general rule. Yeah.
sometimes I organize a
Actually, sometimes
special darshan in some temple, because I know those people. But some people refuse to come with me. They say, I don't want to come because I will go in the normal queue. What does it mean? It's manitvam for me or amanitvam for them?
No, I don't get you. What do you mean?
Okay, I take somebody to a temple where I am respected very well and I have some people known to me. So I organize a special darshan. And the person whom I invite does not want to come because he says, I will go in the normal queue, I don't want to come with you because you will take me in special queue.
Yeah. Some people are very particular about it. They don't like the special darshan. Bhagavan ellarum onnu. There is special darshan. Not general queue. Certain people are having such principles. Nothing wrong in that. If that is their value, you respect that. Okay, fine. Carry on. That's it.
Is it my manitvam or their amanitvam?
No, your thing is that you are not doing, if you are doing it out of showing it off, like Dambitvam. See, I am respected.
Yeah.
If you want to show off, if you do it, then that is the wrong value. If you do it yadharthan, because some people, you are not putting your mind to how much I get respect, how much I am looking at, I am comparing myself with others. You don't do those calculations. If those calculations are not driving, you are just yadharthan, some people, you go to the temple and come. that is okay. But if you add a value, an exaggerated value to that, then it is money. So you have to be alert. Exactly what is driving, what is happening in your mind. That is very important.
Okay.
So you have to be alert to your mind. That's why the apramatta is a very important thing. You must know. Once you know what is happening in your mind, you are observing it, there itself you create the space. And it becomes a vyavahara, and you are what you are. But whereas in that situation, since I know these people, I go there, and they respect me, fine, it's fine, okay, they respect, accept it, acknowledge it, and do your whatever darshan, come back. Also, that saves you some time, and you can mind your business, because we have been going there regularly. So that's all okay, it's all practical things. But if you do it, the value addition, like, no, I must get respect, say I'm respected, that is why I'm going there. I don't go to another temple because I'm not getting respected. So all those things are exaggerated. Those things should be avoided. What it is. Have to be, it cannot be, the sense, you don't have to compare yourself. Just because you are going to a temple where people know you and respect you, you don't again have to condemn yourself. See, that person without going to any special queue and all, he goes on the darshan, whereas I'm going through special session, so I'm bad, he is good. No. That sort of a value again, that value judgment also is not necessary. If you are doing it as artha, but if you are doing it with a motive, that motive, if it is not okay, you have to examine it and avoid it. Very important.
What I am telling is, when we go with in-laws and all to one place like Bangalore,
I'm not able to hear you. I'm not able to hear you properly.
Okay, I will talk later. No problem.
Yeah. I think your voice is a bit.
Shuffled down.
That audio is bad.
No, my internet is bad.
No.
Okay. Unlike Manitva,
You ask me that question later, yeah.
Unlike Manitva, it is demanding to be respected without any qualification for it. This is done in small ways and big ways, making known to others one's own imagined glories in order to gain approval and recognition. If one needs to feel rich, one will have rings on every finger, even though everything belongs to the bank. All this is because one is not rich but needs to feel that one is. With actions, with dress, with language presenting myself as something more than what I am is dambitva. Absence of dambitva means having no pretensions. Any pretension also expresses a non-acceptance of myself, and if I do not accept myself, even others accepting me because of what I pretend to be is not going to reach me. This problem also resolves only in the acceptance of myself. Yeah. Ahimsa, not hurting. Ahimsa is not hurting the living beings. This begins with your own body and extends to all living beings, even plants and trees. Ahimsa is the principal vow of a sannyasi. Eating meat, for example, is impossible for someone who has taken this vow. It is a difficult value to observe because it requires a great deal of understanding. There are situations where you have to destroy, like war, for example, the situation here in the Gita. Krishna himself tells Arjuna to do his dharma, which implies a lot of destruction. Ahimsa is a very dynamic concept and has to be interpreted from time to time and the situation to situation. But the basic spirit is to be very clearly understood. Do not deliberately, for your own sake, hurt another being. That is ahimsa. The hurting is also by words.
Yeah. Kayena, vata, manasa, all the three. Anything, no, by word, by deed, by thinking also. Even if you think ill of others, even that has to be avoided. Okay, that may not really create punya papa because it is not yet manifested. But still, you have to correct. Because it won't take much time. If you keep on dwelling on that thought, it will definitely hurt you. It will hurt somebody. So, better to as it, that is why the prajahati yata kama sarvan partha manavata. As it arises, any undesirable thought that will hurt others, you should immediately have a look at it, then allow it to go, just like a bubble. So that's all very important. So the kayena vacha manasa, all the three are equally important. But don't allow it to manifest, especially, at least tumba vittu vaalayan pidikanum. Don't allow it to manifest on others. Because of that, the wrong thought, it should not hurt somebody. And even if there is a wrong word arising in your mind, you want to write a very strong letter, sit and write, put an email and then destroy the email. Don't send it. So that way also you can avoid. Like there is some pressure because of that, you do all that you do. Ensure that others don't get hurt because of your ill will or ill feeling. That is what is ahimsa is all. Yeah.
So if you want to shout on somebody, shout inside your room.
Oh, that's what.
Go to the room and shout at the wall. Our Swami used to say, go to the olden days, you nicely take your good towel, make it wet, so தோக்கிற கல்ல போட்டு அடி, யார் அடிக்கிறியோ அவன் நினைச்சிட்டு அடி. Vent it out, but it does not hurt others. Very important.
How does ahimsa help you gain the knowledge that you are Brahman? Brahman means the whole, and to understand this, the mind must be as big as Brahman, at least relatively. Your mind must be sensitive enough to understand others' pains. No human heart is incapable of empathy, but we generally shut it out. Just observe someone who wins a tennis tournament. At the moment of victory, he will throw his tennis racket in the air and cry out in jubilation. In this state of ecstasy, he approaches the net to shake hands with his opponent. Just observe his expression as his eyes meet the face of the loser. The smile goes, the ecstasy goes, he looks as though he is very sorry that he has won. Why? Because the other person is sad and there is not a human heart that is incapable of understanding another's pain. He knows what it is like to lose, so it is impossible for him not to pick up that pain, however momentarily. When you experience another's pain, however, often it is put aside through rationalizing, and slowly a justification for himsa develops. You become unmindful of the pain of another person purely because of a certain kind of thinking overlaying the original sympathy, which is an expression of ananda.
See, just imagine, your empathy and your sensitivity to others' pain makes that oneness possible. That oneness is ananda, the oneness of life. Like even that Life of Pi that I think I told before also. There's a movie called Life of Pi, where the boys of the zookeeper, just as his father used to give meat to the tiger every day, wearing the gloves, take the meat and give it to the tiger. Tiger will come and take it and go away. So seeing this boy one day tried to do the same thing, and he was going there near the cage and giving that, and suddenly the zookeeper's assistant saw him. Then they came fast and they pulled him away. The very important scene, very poignant scene in that movie. Why? Because at that point in time, they will show the eye of the boy and the eye of the tiger. He feels very empathetic. The tiger is hungry. It's looking at me and giving. He doesn't feel any fear and all that. He feels very the oneness in his eyes, and with the eyes of the tiger, that oneness is communicated in that particular scene. The sense, what you are saying, that the basic oneness of life is there, that we have to be alert to. We should not lose it. In our day-to-day life, we should not, by shutting it out on important moments, we should not become numb, insensitive to that basic human value of ahimsa, the oneness between lives. So that is what he is trying to say. We should not shut it out. We should be alert to that. Then automatically, then you will understand that oneness is my reality. Because that is what is particular. Finally, we are going to land on. After all these things, once we remove all these tendencies that are camouflaging our reality, reality blossoms. That reality expression is this. Ananda is oneness. That is ahimsa. That is what is trying to say. Yeah.
Fullness related to another person becomes sympathy, and that is manageable only when you have mastered your own emotions. Otherwise, that pain becomes your pain. Ahimsa is an appreciation of others' pain that gives you a profound respect for life and allows you to let other living beings
Live.
live as they were meant to.
We say no, live and let live.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Live and let. You be sensitive to others' life as much as you are sensitive to your own life. That's all. It is basic dharma. Actually speaking, basic dharma. That only human beings are capable of.
It is not even that you allow them to live, because that is not something over which you have any say. Nor is it a policy, but something born of your own understanding that every living being has an inherent right to live. You live and enjoy others living. Then you find that ahimsa is very simple. It makes you a person with a very high degree of sensitivity, in whom the original emotions of sympathy and so on are not clogged by some wrong thinking contingent upon your own priorities. Prashant, you want to read?
Yeah. Shanti, glad acceptance. Shanti hi, Shankara says. Swamiji, before we proceed, while going with our cousins and all outside to some places, Swamiji, sometimes our London cousins come down from London, and then they celebrate in a very grand manner. And one such incident happened that they booked in a resort which costs around 5,800 rupees a day, and 2 days they stayed. Now, for a person like me who is earning in India, we felt why can't we spend that for our own anniversary rather than spending for cousins like this and then going. Similarly, when we go to some homa, some place where we are going, they say that we need to set to the standards of what our mama thinks and what our people think and all that. Now, from this manitvam and amanitvam that you talked, what I understand is those things are all humbug. We have to go by what we feel. We go by what we feel and what we should do. We don't need to cater to society's.
What you can afford, what you feel. You must be confident enough to go with a simple dress and a simple your own what is natural to you, even in a crowd of pomp and pleasure and all that. Listen, if it is not acceptable, you can say fine, thank you, and come away. But don't have to pretend that pretense and all those exaggerated stuff. It's all built up over a period of time. It is the peer pressure and what they call. It's all humbug. I tell you, these things you should never get into. I'm telling you, I have worked with multinationals. I've been in foreign countries. I've seen big parties and all that. I have always held on my own. I never bother. Even when I go to a big party, I will just have salad, because in the night I don't generally, even on those times, I never used to eat much. I'll just have some salad and go to the other thing. Let them have those things. You must be very, very thorough about those things. Okay, you don't have to hurt. You are not doing it to show off that your simplicity. That also is not needed. But do it quietly, without showing it off. And if it is going to hurt them, walk away. Just spend some time, wish the couple or wish the boy or girl and all that. Quietly walk away. That's the best thing to do. Go in a big party, reception and all that. Well, the main purpose is to wish the people who have invited you. Go and bless them, quietly have something and walk away. So those things, you must be very clear in your mind that you are doing your part of your role. At the same time, don't get influenced or motivated by getting into all these things, unnecessary things in life. Yeah, we should be alert.
But at the same time, one more question. See, when we go with our in-laws to some place, and there has been someone who is, who may be close to our wife but not close to us, those persons tend to dominate by talking, vidividin pesar, those things. They may not see, I'm only son-in-law to the family. I've gone to a marriage. They instruct me like, just now you had meals at 5 o'clock, why are you eating at 8 o'clock again? Those type of things, which is really making us embarrassed in front of people. And at times, Swamiji, how do I just to keep quiet and not talk anything and come Gramari Tondra Swamiji? I'm just being frank with you.
You have to manage it. I tell you, these things have to be managed situation by situation, wherein the principle is very clear. You are not putting yourself down. You have got your self-respect. At the same time, you are not hurting the others. Both have to be managed. That is why now, after this ahimsa, now Shanti is going to be told. Ahimsa is not to hurt others. Shanti is, even when they hurt you, you accept it without getting hurt. The beauty is you have to accept it without getting hurt. That is explaining now. Glad acceptance. Just see that. Yeah.
Yes, Shanti, glad acceptance. Shantihi,
Shanti,
Shankara
this-
says is remaining.
Ksha chalana.
Sha.
Shanti, Shanti.
Shanti.
I thought K is
K.
silent. I thought
No,
K is silent.
K
Shanti.
silent, correct only. Shanti, but the slight thing should be there. Shanti, yeah.
Shantihi. Shanam
Otherwise
சொல்ற
it becomes
மாதிரி.
Shanti,
Shanam,
a very different word. Shanti is accommodate, Kshama. It comes from the root Kshama. Ksham dhatu.
Ksha.
Ksham meaning accommodating. The sense, Manipu, Bhava Manipu, all those things are there. Here we are just talking about accommodating. Yeah.
Swamiji, it is that
Sha.
Sanskrit ksha or sha?
Yeah.
Ksha, na?
K.
K.
Ksha, yes.
Ksha, that's why I am told. It's not
Yeah,
sha.
you are right. Yeah. Yes.
Shantihi, Shankara says, is remaining unchanged when you are wronged by another, whether verbally or by an action, which is against dharma. When you are harmed in any manner, there is an impulse to retaliate. This reaction is called vikriya. It first occurs as a mental modification and then is expressed in the form of either an oral or a physical action. The absence of such a reaction is Shanti. How can anybody remain without a reaction when he has been wronged in his perception? Psychology will say a reaction is legitimate. It is true in one way, but here we are going one step further. When you are trying to gain Atma Jnana, such reactions are not appropriate at all. We do not say that you should suppress anger, but look into how you can get past the reaction. This is possible only when you have an intimate understanding of the other person. What has prompted the person to act in this way? Each person acts or reacts in a given way because he or she cannot act differently. If one could, one certainly would have. Generally, you avoid people whose behavior you find difficult to handle, but that does not solve the problem of your reaction. You have to look into yourself and see why you are not able to allow the other person to be what he or she is. Reaction happens only because of intolerance or looking at it in another way, internalization. When you feel hurt because of someone's action, you internalize that behavior as though you had some responsibility for it. The reality is that as an adult, you are responsible only for your own emotions and actions. If they are wrong, you can always correct them, but you cannot afford to take responsibility for the emotions and action of others. The only thing you can do is to accept each person with whom you are required to relate exactly as he or she is. Every person comes from a given background. With the same background, you would do the same thing. That consideration of another background as the basis of his or her responses is maturity. I think with all this...
Psychology is very, very important. Like, you can validate any person by telling yourself, if I had been born like him, if I had been brought up like him, if I had gone through life the way he has gone through, if I am in his place, I would have also behaved the same way. That way, you can validate even a terrorist.
You put yourself in other shoes, Swamiji.
But you have to put in other shoes. But at the
That's what I
same
tell
time,
you.
that does not justify to follow that value, because very fact you are able to observe all those negativities, you are not with that background. So you don't have to internalize it. That's why he says, you don't have to internalize it. You observe, empathize with the other guy, but you don't have to internalize it. Ensure that you insulate, you don't get yourself hurt because of his action. The mistake is his. Why should it allow you, by allowing his mistake to hurt you, you become guilty yourself. So don't get to that level of that association should not become flow into you. You are a person, individual, and you have got your background, you have got certain things, your values, and you find that the other person does not have that value, maybe because of some reason, because of the background. Empathize with him, if you can help him, but definitely not allow him to hurt you. Both equally, that is what by not allowing him to hurt you, you become Shanti. Shanti meaning accommodate, you accept it. Listen, you are in good position, then accepting is not difficult. But if you get affected, you will not be able to accept it. So don't allow it to hurt you. That's very important. You have a sankalpam in your life that nobody can hurt me, irrespective of whatever is the situation. I used to tell myself verbally, this soliloquy, self-lecturing is very important. Nobody can hurt me. That sort of a thing is very important in life, whatever the situation. Yeah.
Swamiji, in situations like, for example, office situations where we apply for leave, our manager does not approve our leave until the end and then keeps on getting work extracted from us and also gets the 2 days work extracted from us. There we can, take care at least to see that the person does not hurt us and we keep doing the work for them in order to do it. I'll just explain one situation which is happening, but I did not get hurt, nor did I allow myself to get hurt, but I was found to fault for a situation for which I am not at all responsible. I'll tell you one situation. Agreement signature has to be done by one of the partners in our organization. That partner is almost 75 plus, okay? That man does every day morning Sandhi up to 11 o'clock he goes to Kabali temple. He comes back, he sits for Madhyanikam at 1 o'clock. He eats at 2 o'clock, he sleeps at 3 o'clock, he gets up at 4 o'clock, temple 7 o'clock, he has some schedule in his life. Now the person who is going to get the signature in our office is a peon who is 64 years old. He takes a bus, he gets down at the Mylapore, goes there, he gets a signature from that partner, comes back. Now this partner said 11 o'clock, that peon went. He said no, come back at 12:30. He went back at 1. That peon was again sent away. Now the peon said, I'm old, I cannot go 2 times more than this. Like this, 17 days, 15 days, that person was halakaichified. I don't know what to say in English for that.
This thing can.
And finally, when I went myself to get the signature and submitted, onshore team came and said, so late. Now that partner who was responsible and never took consideration of that peon is now saying Prashant is fully responsible for the delay of the agreement. I can't help it. What do I do in that type of case, Swamiji? I was hurt only. I couldn't do anything else.
If if this is the background, you really enumerated this routine and all that. You know your background, his background very clearly. If you can adapt that this is his background, how to ensure that our work does not get delayed because of his background and his behavior. If you find a way out of it, better go ahead and do it rather than sitting on value judgment on the 76-year-old man or 90-year-old man. No point. Doesn't really help us. We have to get our work done. If you know his routine so well, you take an extra day, send at home, or whatever time, whatever way it suits. Ensure that you are able to get things done earlier. It will be better rather than allowing him to the situation to build up to the level where it hurts you.
Okay.
Neither the situation should hurt you nor his behavior should hurt you.
Because the problem is
you have to find a way to do it.
Okay. The problem is I am setting a precedent by going myself. The next time onwards I only will have to go. So what I thought, let's follow the office protocol.
I'm not saying that you should, even the peon, you find a way to send him after office hours, give him some extra and ensure that when he go there at home, this person goes once only and then from there, you take this signature, take it home and then bring it tomorrow morning, whatever it is. These things can be done, but you have to maneuver it. No point in allowing it to hurt you. That's what I'm saying. That is the important part that is being made. You cannot allow yourself to hurt by others' behavior. That is part of that Shanti. Ensure that you don't get hurt. That way your sense of acceptance of the other person, of your own self-acceptance also will improve. That's what he's saying. Yeah.
There are laws governing the behavior of the human mind. That is why it is possible to have a discipline of knowledge called psychology. Certain backgrounds result in certain types of behavior. Who is responsible for that? If you can appreciate that, you will have compassion, understanding and a capacity to listen. If you can appreciate that, you will have compassion, understanding and a capacity to listen. Any action on your part in response to what has happened will be born of an understanding of the person. This requires great patience because it is not easy to understand another person. Sometimes it takes years. This is where I have an answer. People married for 20 years separate because there is a failure in understanding. To understand another person, we must be open to him or her, but most of us are not able to be so because of our own fears and anxieties. As a result, the communication is not totally honest and consequently, neither is the relationship. Each one remains closed in some areas and the behavior is based on an anxiety to maintain the relationship. Instead of making you mature, an intimate relationship causes further problems unless you are able to be open and understand the other person. That openness is what is called accommodation, Shanti. If you give that a very important place in your value structure, you will find that you are open and easily able to understand people.
So that's why Swamiji always used to say, nowadays all relationships are high maintenance.
Sorry?
High maintenance relationship.
Yeah.
High maintenance.
Yeah, okay.
You say that. Yeah.
Then your action will be appropriate. If for want of data it proves to be wrong, you can always correct it. But in a reaction, there is no correction because there is no learning. It just happens even against your understanding. In action, however you learn.
Deliberate action, you can learn. If it is a reaction, you cannot learn. You will only justify. Because the learning, the ship has passed, ship has sailed, they say, no. The moment has passed, where if there is a possibility for you to have learned, you would have reacted, thereafter only justify it. Because that becomes part of your personality. So don't allow that to happen. Before the reaction, take deliberate action. Whatever it is. That is precisely, that's called learning. That's what he says, yeah.
You cannot count on being informed enough to make every action successful, but you can always learn. With great intention, you may deliberately act out of sympathy, but the other person need not take it as an act of sympathy. He can always misinterpret and think that you are patronizing. At this level, further communication is not easy. Even the most communicative people find it difficult to communicate in this situation, but you have to try. You can perfect the action or change the course of it as long as you are ready to understand another person. And understanding another person is possible only when you have accommodation, Shanti. The example I always give for Shanti is the baby kicking his father. The father not only does not complain, he is so proud that he shares with his wife the joy of being kicked. But if the child were to kick him 15 years later, he would have an entirely different response. There was no reaction to the baby kicking him because there was an appreciation of the background from which a baby kicks. The background is innocence. Even when the older boy kicks, there is a background. He may be under the influence of alcohol or drugs. There may be 100 different reasons. But if you do not have accommodation, you can never understand that background, you only react. This value is not an ordinary one. I would say it should occupy the most important place in the value structure. If a person has Shanti, he or she is a saint. All other values, amanitva, adambitva, ahimsa and so on will follow because that person tries to understand and not make judgments about others or himself. If you are not critical of others without being critical, and if you can be kind to yourself, you can be kind to others. To be kind to yourself, you just have to enjoy yourself as a person. There is nothing wrong with you as you are. Then when Vedanta says that in spite of the limitations of your body, mind, senses, you are Purna, totally acceptable. It is meaningful because psychologically you do not oppose that fact. If that vision is understood,
there is no resistance. When the Shastra comes and tells you are Purna, if you are relatively Purna by your value structure in your life, when the Shastra says you are Purna, you won't resist it. Otherwise, how can I be Purna? I've got so many problems. What this man is trying to tell? You will go away. You will not even attend the class. So that is what he is trying to say. You have to be relatively close to your reality. Then reality can accept the reality. If you are so far away from reality, the reality will not make any head or tail for you. That is precisely what you are trying to do. You are trying to get close to the reality. Sattva. Sattva meaning, the mind is called Sattva. Meaning, mind is supposed to be Sattva all the time. Whereas we get so much of Rajas and Tamas coming into our life, we are totally, though the mind is no more Sattva. We have to look for Sattva. So we are trying to now move towards Sattva by developing all this, dropping off, rather, I won't say developing, I would say dropping off all these other unwanted things. That's what we are trying to do. Yeah.
Any correction required in the behavior pattern is possible without self-condemnation. Saint becomes a very big word because we give a saint an exalted stature so that we can continue to be what we are. Everyone has to become a saint in as much as a saintly person is a mature person. I have to take responsibility for my actions and emotions and acknowledge that there is no outside force that influences me any more than what I allow it to. I am the devil and I am the angel impelling my actions. I am responsible for all my emotions and actions and others are responsible for theirs. If I think their behavior can be better, it is because I have not understood their background. Seeing that is the only way to become mature. If you go to a doctor with a headache, he does not treat you as a good person or a bad person. He treats a problem. Even if you are an alcoholic, he cannot sit in judgment of your diseased liver. Or if a person in the delirium of a high fever insults the doctor, he cannot take offense and refuse to treat the patient. In exactly the same way, a saint responds to a person who has some behavioral problems. He does not judge because he understands very clearly that nobody is bad or good. Everybody is a mixture of countless different things, neither good or bad. There are certain behavioral patterns based on given backgrounds that are highly predictable. With certain kind of mother-father society schooling, there will be a particular behavior. But one great thing about a human being is that this programming can be undone. As an adult, you can create an antidote to habitual behavior patterns rooted in your childhood. That antidote is your value structure. Understanding it intimately, you will give priority to a value like Shanti, accommodation. I consider this the most important value in the modern world when there is so much tension and competition and therefore rancor. Rancor. The only answer is to have a primary value like Shanti. That is the way to become mature. Swamiji, when someone is at the core of doing unrightful thing, I am unable to look at the person's perspective, Swamiji.
You see,
How do you say it's unrightful?
Chronically happening. You have to put yourself in a situation where, since if you think that it is all not falling in place, you have to find a way to get out of that situation. You cannot stay within and keep complaining. That will only add to the frustration. If you have decided to stay within, you have to also decide how to stay unhurt. So for that, you already know what is the other person's, whether however repressible that person's behavior is, you know the background. That's what Swami is trying to say. Even if he is an alcoholic, whatever it is, you have to look at him basically, because of his background, he is going to be like that. You cannot, but you are in a position to keep on interacting with him. You have to find a way to interact so that Shanti is possible. Otherwise, you have to take yourself out into a different situation where you cannot bear it any longer. That is, but you cannot compromise with the quality of Shanti. You cannot justify not having Shanti or accommodation, throwing tantrums and reacting because the other person is bad. So, because the other person is bad, you cannot become bad. So that is precisely where you have to draw a line. Very important. Or next time, tomorrow?
Yeah.
One more small question. One more small question. Knowing that a person will only be doing like this in the past, see, we've been dealing with the person for 20 years, knowing that that person is not capable of doing it or the person spoils the whole thing. Sometimes they hand over the responsibility to that person only who spoils the whole thing. How do you get away from that, Swamiji?
No, you cannot. If you are in a position to influence the decision making, where you can put forward your views properly in a very objective manner without reacting and all that, and try to get some change. It is possible, if the situation is possible to change. Otherwise, we have that serenity prayer, Let me have the serenity to accept things which I cannot change. Let me have the will and effort to change things I can. Let me have the wisdom to know the difference between the two. So you must have the wisdom. That is very important, and move on with life. You cannot get stuck because of certain things that happen. Very important. That happens. Do agree. Especially in company situation and all, you must not put yourself in a position that you are stuck with it. Stuck with the problem. You have to be bold enough to make changes in life and all that. Those things are happening. That nobody will. But given a situation where you are in, you cannot allow your happiness, your santushti to be affected by others' behavior. That is the central point. How you do it is up to you. But you cannot compromise this fact. That is very important. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya
Sishyate Shanti
Hari Om Sri Guru Bhyo
Namaha Hari Om